Well, good morning, church. Again, thank you for joining us for our daily Devo. Today, we're in Acts chapter 23. Now, if you were with us on Friday, you know what's happened. Paul has returned to Jerusalem, hoping to share what God has done. But there's a group of people there who are really not liking what is going on. They are Jews who see Christianity as a sect. And they worry about it. The Romans had given them special permission. Most nations they conquered, they did not let them continue their worship to their, quote, gods. And yet, because they saw the only way that we are going to get the Jews to start worshiping their God is to kill them. So we're going to allow them some freedom. And they kind of worried that maybe this might break out and the Romans might see it as a threat. Also, there was a threat because when Christ set up the apostles, he didn't go through the normal religious circles. So these 12 in the early church wasn't connected to the leaders of Judaism. So because of that, Paul comes, and if you remember 22, they want to kill him. The Romans have to save Paul's life. They find out he's a Roman, so they give him some more protection. But here in chapter 23, they've now brought Paul back because they're trying to figure out what's going on. They want to get to the bottom of it. Again, they know they have a need to protect Paul, but at the same time, they want to figure out what's going on. So they bring all these religious leaders together, and almost from the first point Paul opens his mouth, everything goes south. I mean, again, Paul brings up something as a Pharisee, and some of these leaders are Sadducees, and there's a religious difference that the Sadducees kind of just believe you're here, you die, and it's over. The Pharisees believe in the supernatural, that there is life after death. They believe in angels and demons, and so there's already some tension there. And so Paul gets the support of the Pharisees over the Sadducees, and now there's this argument, like this little riot breaking out, and the Romans think, oh no, this isn't happening. They don't want Paul to die. They don't want this. They pull Paul out. So you got to think at this moment, Paul's a little discouraged. He's come back to Jerusalem. He's done what God's asked him to do. And yet, what's happening? He can't even share. He can't even open his mouth without them wanting to take him out. And then we see for the fourth time, Paul gets a vision. He is spoken to by God. And the first thing he says is be encouraged. I love that because if anything, it wouldn't be encouraged to be under house arrest for your protection, people wanting to kill you, and yet he says be encouraged. And he lets Paul know, just as you preach the gospel in Jerusalem, you'll preach it in Rome. That was kind of like, don't worry, Paul, you're not dying here. You're going to get to Rome. You're going to preach. And so that would encourage Paul. And he needed it because you'll find out next, the people in Jerusalem, some of the religious leaders make oaths that they will not eat or drink until they kill Paul. And they want to take him out. And so Paul's nephew comes and tells the Romans, and they think, what can we do? So they think, you know what, we'll send Paul to Caesarea. See, so when Paul leaves, he sees he's not being jerked out of Jerusalem, but he understands he's leaving Jerusalem because God has started another path that's going to take him to Rome. Now, it's not going to be a short path. He's going to go and speak to Felix, who's the leader at Caesarea. And a matter of fact, he'll stay there so long that Felix will be replaced with Festus, and he'll get to share the gospel with him. Ultimately, he's going to appeal to Caesar, and he's going to be taken to Rome. It's going to be not a short trip. A matter of fact, from when Paul gets this vision to when he ends up in Rome, theologians say it's between 2.5 minimum and 3 years. That's a long time to wait. And yet, God wanted him to know, Paul, I'm there. I'm leading your steps. Sometimes when we're in the midst of crisis, we're in the midst of everything going crazy, just having a confidence in God is worth so much. And as believers, we should have confidence because we understand every problem we face in this world is temporary. It's not going with us. And no matter what problem comes, we can understand that God has the ability to, 1, take the challenge away, 2, give us the power to go through it. So we face these things. We're to go to God. We're to pray. We are to request, God, can you remove that? But if he doesn't, we can know he can give us the grace and the power to go through it and go through it in such a way that it points to God and ultimately directs others to be committed and know him. Guys, thank you so much for being part of our Daily Devo. I hope you continue, and I hope today you have a blessed day.